My ways are my own. I like my time away from people. I enjoy deeper conversations. There are places and people I do not enjoy. I love analyzing and observing people. I do not enjoy crowds. If these statements describe you, you might be an empath. Our next guest is here to help us understand how we can embrace our inner empath. We rise above the chaos, drama, and negativity and prioritize our own spiritual growth and healing journey. In this way, we can lead by example and uplift others to use this gift too. Hi, and welcome to the U World Order Showcase podcast, where we feature life, health, and transformational coaches stepping up to be the change they seek in the world. I'm your host, Jill Hart, the Coach's Alchemist, on a mission to help coaches and entrepreneurs amplify their voice, monetize their mission, and get visible, leveraging podcasts and the huge audience we have over on the Gnostic TV network. Today, we are chatting with Michelle J. Howe, empath and coach, bridging the gap between empathy and authenticity. Welcome to the show, Michelle. It's really great to have you here.
I am glad to be here. Thank you.
So I'm going to ask you the big question. Are you ready?
Sure.
Okay. What's the most significant thing, in your opinion, as individuals we can do to make an impact on how the world is going?
Well, it's not a hard question. The most significant thing we can do is stop trashing everything and start seeing what is good and what can become better and what's going to become even better than that. Like, we're creating a story together. Let's create the story the way that it supports us, not into, kicking and screaming against the waves are hitting and we don't like this and we don't like that. Focus on the things that show promise, that are positive, and then it's that creative genius in us. Start moving with that concept and bringing more of that to the table. And definitely use your voice. Use your voice in
With
that way.
kindness.
Yeah.
So you talk about being an empath, and I know I read that statement of I am statements about how empaths feel. And I did it because I really resonate with all of those statements. And we were talking before the show about how being in crowds of people can really drain an empath. Do you want to talk about what defines an empath and how their energy that we experience around groups of people affect us and how we can
That's a lot. Okay.
brace,
We'll
brace
start with the
ourselves.
simple thing.
Gotta take
Um,
notes.
you know, in a broad term, I like to look around and say, everybody is an empath in their way because everybody is feeling. Everybody truly is feeling their way in the world. But most people, yeah, they can take or leave it. They just move through things, not a big deal. Um, but an empath works within the sensitivity. They're very sensitive to what's around them. And the reason for that is because their energy, their body is more fluid. It's lighter. A yelling at someone, a being angry at somebody, a confrontate, like, we will feel the nuances around us because the boundaries are somewhat blurred. We can easily feel what's going on in an environment or with other people. And those energies, whether those people recognize those energies or not, they're coming into our sphere. They're coming into our experience. And for an empath, this is them naturally open, relating, communicating, observing. They're not doing anything specifically for this to happen. It's just who they are. And typically empaths are very intuitive, very perceptive, very psychically, but also, like, if there's dissension in a room, if there's trauma, we're trying to protect, we're trying to harmonize, we're trying to level up the space and understand, like, we're just deeper people. I mean, and I don't know that I speak for every empath because when I looked out in the world, I'm like, geez, there's a lot of people struggling. But in my opinion, they're very empathic, yet they have no knowledge. Like, I did not know the word empath. I had no idea. I just was always observing, always insightful, always trying to put pieces together. No one would say, "Oh, Michelle doesn't like crowds." I just naturally didn't go there. I don't want to be there, so I'm not going to go there. I don't enjoy this social thing. Like, if you talk to my husband, he's like, "Michelle, you're definitely social. You are definitely an extrovert." And I'm like, "No, I am not an extrovert." Like, just because I can do this for a finite amount of time doesn't mean that my happy place is. And also, what would give it away would be I seemed to attract the people that needed the most help in high school, even because I could see they needed help. And then I saw the other side. Oh, these people are completely full of themselves. I don't really have an interest in joining that. Like, my beat, what I do is my own. I don't really seem to follow many people. Um, and I was always like, why is it that the people that are, they're feeling in high school, especially, they didn't have homes, they didn't have family. Like, I was always near them, like bringing this, they were attracted to me, and I had no issue supporting them. Um, but yeah, it's pretty interesting. And it wasn't till like when I got married, I went to school, I got married, I didn't really understand the energetics of what was happening to me. Like, I knew I could sense and feel people, but I wasn't like I was like more focused on myself and learning than I was, I'm moody. I don't enjoy this. I need downtime. Like, there were all these reasons, but it wasn't like, oh, it didn't slap me in the face that I was very empathic. I knew that if I showed people that, that I was, if I showed people my vulnerability, if I showed them a little bit more emotion, I knew that it would get perceived as a weakness. So I didn't, because the last thing I wanted to do was let them have any advantage over me. And it's because I could read them. So that was a benefit that I could read people. I could read the darkness in them and the confusion in them. I just didn't realize that my path was going to be very different than a traditional path. And then the next part of your question was how do we do? What do we do with the, listen, we find our way. Um, we strengthen who we are. When we start like really learning about the energetics, we strengthen who we are. We will not want to be in certain places, not because we're going to go down or it's bad for us. We're not enjoying that. That's no longer calling to us. Um, and we start using some wisdom tools, some tools to shift the way we connect with the world around us, to understand where we're vulnerable and where we're not, and what is our role and what is it not. So, it really puts you down a path that not only are you really gaining a lot of strength in who you are, that's very empowering. Because before then, you can get hit this way and that way, and you don't even know why, right? I used to, I didn't figure this out till probably 5 years ago. And the memory came up that every New Year's Eve, for some reason, I would end up like a basket case. I would be in tears. And yeah, I happen to be the kind of person that's reflects on the year and thinks of the year ahead. Like, but for me to be completely in tears on New Year's Eve, I'm like, oh gosh, I'm like, a lot of emotions are running around on New Year's Eve. A lot of good and then a lot of bad, right? A lot of heavy and or light. And if I'm in that reflective stage that I'm looking at things that went well or didn't go well or whatever, I could be definitely picking up on what's going on around me. And here I am in a pool of tears. So, um, For anyone who is empathic, the journey is one of learning energetics, learning who you are and who you're not, because we really are, um, what's conditioned, I should say, conditioned, programmed. We really are. We really don't know any different. We really are very strong, multidimensional beings in this body, and we have a purpose in being here.
You
So,
find it interesting that as an empath, maybe when you were younger, I know this for myself. When I was younger, I would I would be easily swayed by the people I was around. And I think it was just because of the energy of the people that I was surrounded by.
yeah.
And I could change, I just like move into a different circle of people and then I would change. And it wasn't I because of the way I was raised, I moved around a lot. And looking back, I can see how that happened. But I also we didn't have the internet back then. And I didn't, my parents weren't particularly spiritual or religious either. They were, or they were, and they didn't talk to us about it. Um, so I really didn't have anybody to say, this is what energy is. This is what an empath is. This is what you're feeling and why why you feel like you're changing depending on who you're around. I have noticed as an adult that that did happen, but I'm also a very strong person, and people would say that I'm an extrovert because I will stand up in front of a huge group of people. I can talk and speak like, I do this. I meet new people all the time, but it's not naturally who I am. I am personally, I like to spend time by myself. I'm married, I have kids, but I treasure the couple hours in the evening that I spend in my room alone with my dog. I just like, I don't need to have other people around me. It causes me to become irritated and agitated and anxious if I
Mm.
can't have that space to just exist on my own. Again, I've thrown like
So really, it's a place
47 different things at you.
It's a place for you. It's a time for you to regroup, release, come back home. Really, I mean, because all day long you are around other people. You're not by yourself.
I'm on the line.
Yeah. So basically, it's like it's that little timeout that just says, "Okay, I'm right here. Calm down, relax. Work at it. The world doesn't you have to go that fast. You can go at this pace. You don't have to be in so and so's energy. Like it's your little happy place that you need every single day. Like some people go running every single day, right?
Mhm.
You spend time, regroup, relax. I mean, I've done the same thing myself because it's my favorite place to be is with me, which is kind of fun. Like I'm like, oh, like I'm never bored, really. Yeah.
I'm not either. I like spending time alone and I don't have to even be thinking about anything. I can just be and it feels good. But as soon as I'm around other people, then I feel like I'm responsible for the things that they're feeling. And they don't even have to talk. I can just feel what they're feeling. And it's like,
Mm. Okay. So, um, different people use different words. You bring down the volume. Are you strengthen, like focus on yourself? Like, even with all that knowledge, like if I'm connected to my son or my daughter, if they're in the house, or like I enjoy when my husband goes to work. Okay, see you later. I'm like, just see you later. And other people, because all I have to do is look at them and I know what they're thinking, what they're feeling. And then when I say everything's everything okay, and then they look at me like I have five eyes. They're like, yeah, I'm fine, mom. Like no, there's something
no, you're
wrong.
not.
Like, but you're just not telling me what that is. Like, I don't think they actually even know what that is. So Yeah, we have to, I raised three children, and when they come home for the holidays, I need a vacation from the holidays because I'm inundated. And although I'll take my time, it's still probably at a higher, um, not just pace, but the energy feels much more like I'm not in my relaxed mode of me. It's not just me, there's others there. So there are ways of like, there are degrees of how uncomfortable you could be. So, when you go in public, you have energy skills. You can bring yourself in, you can bring yourself out, you can make yourself higher, you can make yourself wider, like just depending on where you are. I mean, I personally love to be as open as possible, right? Well, that's not going to work very well when there are other people in the space, right? And of course, we're not going to enjoy that because we're not allowed to just be, so for short periods of time, if I go into a crowd, like I can hold my energy in certain ways and close down certain things. I can actually on purpose close down certain things, which has helped me, but it's not my sweet spot. And what I found is the more I go down this road of being an empath is a big responsibility. You feel a lot, but also the energetics of it is if there's anything unhealed or missing in you or heavy or dense, and somebody walks in the door or walks in your circle that has that same vibration, you will pick up on it. It will ring so intensely. And if it's not in the positive, it's going to ring in the negative. So it's important for the empath to learn to neutralize the way they step into the world, the way they look at the world, the way they manage their own emotions and manage their own thoughts, what they're carrying from their ancestors. These are all parts of who we are. And it shows up as triggers, right? I'm triggered, I'm
Mhm.
upset. Oh, this happened or that happened. Well, whether we recognize this or not, whether we consciously know it or not, everything that comes into our orbit is by divine design. It is not an accident.
Mhm.
There is no such thing as an accident. Like yes, we can be careless, right? But in some way, we attract everything that comes in. So we are here actually learning from everything that comes in or doesn't come in. Um, and our job is to recognize that, pivot, have some discernment, some wisdom to navigate that situation and let go of it. Big words, let go of that, move towards what does support and empower. And what I would like to say is the energetics of things, it's just humbling the energetics of things because father, mother, brother, sister, children, we are somewhat enmeshed, connected to those people. So as much as we try to oh, no big deal. there,
It's
there,
always a big
there
deal.
is stuff happening in the background that we may not be able to control, and humbly we need to respect that there is that. And the more we judge or the more upset we get about something or the more we blame something, the more we're attracting, amplifying that energy to us even more. So it really becomes a cat and mouse game of let's do the energy dance. Let's see how my mind works, what's coming in, what I allow to leave, how easily it leaves, how tight am I holding on to this injustice that happened to me and these situations happening on the outside. And um, the part that just completely just blows up the whole idea that we can control anything. We're here just to experience things, Jill. This is not like, oh, let me completely change the world. Now, yes, we're going to make an impact on the world, but the world is made up of a lot of people. And I don't get to say how. I can only say my future, my
Mhm.
path. And as many people as I've worked with energetically, the mental paradigms, the universes that each of us creates blows me away. Like we're negotiating to be safe in our head and we make these decisions from this and that and certain things are true. So, like our every person is completely different. And I'm empathic, so I go in there. I like to kind of sample out and see who somebody is. And when I do, I'm always like, I thought I had like, this is the only ways it can show up. I'm like, no, no, no. I'm like, we are so multifaceted. Don't think you've got it figured out, Michelle, because you probably will never get the whole shebang figured out.
Everybody experiences something the same, like we're
Mhm.
having an experience together, but we're having two different experiences. You'll remember this differently than I'll remember it. We could talk to somebody, a third person, about the experience that we're having here, and it would be like we were talking to two different people, just because of the way that we all experience every experience.
Yeah.
I think it feeds into trauma too. We're all traumatized as children. You just cannot escape childhood without some trauma. And as parents, we've inflicted it on our kids too. You just got to own it. It happens. But we don't recognize what's happening to them. It's how they're perceiving it
Yeah.
from their perspective that causes the trauma. So it doesn't really matter what's going on insofar as that we don't do it on purpose, most of us, but it happens. And just like it happened to us when we were kids, because our parents didn't know any better and theirs didn't know any better, and it generational trauma that happens. But as even as empaths, we can feel it, we can see it, we might even see it happening, but it's because of this perspective and creating realities thing that there's not a lot you can do about it. You can just observe it.
So much, there's so much, that whole thing about the iceberg. There's so much to us that's completely unconscious, completely, that we
Mhm.
don't know. We like to be prepared, right? But we don't know what we don't know. We never will. So, it's all these experiences one at a time as they come our way that we become conscious of things.
Mhm.
And some of them, you can argue this is a horrible experience I just went through, but it's just an experience. And most of the growth that we do happens during challenging experiences, not easy ones.
I think you just get the easy ones so you have a minute to catch your breath.
Agreed. Agreed. It's very, you know what? I can't complain about, I mean, I have a pretty good view of life, even with all the things that, to the contrary, if you can make a list of all the things that are bad, right? I've always been the glass is half full. Like I'm just, why would I want to walk around miserable all day long? Like, no, that's not going to happen. You don't get to like impact the way I feel. Like I can choose what I'm going to let come in and not come in. So, you'll see me redirect myself to the things that make me smile, whereas some people are really set on focusing on the things that are bad in the world. And you know what I respect? I respect everybody's choice because sometimes there's something for them to do, right? We don't know what we came into this lifetime to do. I'm attracted to certain things. I was attracted to creating empath evolution. I was attracted to speaking more fully. I was attracted to going into all kinds of different modalities and learning about that. It 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 just was internally driven
Mhm.
knowledge that I wanted. And I'm here to share where it's most appropriate to share, but I have plenty of family that thinks I am not wackadoodled, but not quite exactly normal, like whatever they think normal is. So, I beg to differ because a lot of people that drink too much, what are you numbing? They're feeling too much. That's why they're numbing. They don't like what they're feeling, so they want to stop that, right? People that exercise too much. Oh, that's like food to them, right? It helps them feel better. So there's
You
all
feel in
these,
control. It's a
yes,
control issue.
it's a control.
It can
Yeah,
be a control issue.
can be. Oh my gosh, the visual came in about eating disorders. I went to college with a girl. I was bulimic in college, and she was anorexic. And I did a lot of work to move through that. But let me tell you, her brain was completely straight ahead. Do not, like, she would not deviate for anything over what she was going to do and wasn't going to do. And it was really scary because, when someone is that disconnected, I would say,
Mhm.
from what her body needs, her body wants, but like just driven. This is the only gear I know, and this is what we're doing, and that's it. Um, that was coping for whatever she had gone through young, but it's also like such a humbling place to have somebody who is, say, in your own family that is hurting themselves
Mhm.
and you are watching that unfold. So this is part of the play that you're in. Like for me, like in working with clients, I'm like, listen, this is your play. Get up on that stage right now. Your play. Stop. Like prioritizing everybody and everything else. Get on the stage
You're
and
the
tell
lead
me
character. It's your story.
it's your story. You get to say it, you get to live it, you get to speak it. And, that's empowerment, truly.
Mhm.
And that permission to be, if you're empathic, you're empathic. You're sensitive, you're sensitive. You're, just allowing that to come to the table without screening it. Is it right? Is it wrong? Who's judging me? Who isn't? Those are all the things that hold us back
Mhm.
from expressing who we are. And at the end of the day, the more we stifle ourselves and shun ourselves and shut it down and keep ourselves small, the less joyful we will feel because we're restricted. We're coming in. When we expand, expansion is joyful. You're open, you're expansive. And that's why a lot of empaths you'll find very happy people. But then, of course, the person who is wounded, the person who's in, we're there, we want to help them, right? We want to help them. Well, it ends up being like a chokehold on you when you are with somebody that you are constantly needing to help. And it's not really fair, and it's not even possible that people all have to do their own work. But, maybe they just come home and complain and grunt and grunt and grunt and you try to make the best of it for them, right? It's a very nice person. And it's not me because at one point I'm like, I am not marrying anybody that complains. I am not marrying anyone who's moody. I am not like I had this laundry list of things because I don't do well with that. Like that's not a help to me and it's not fair to me. So, yeah,
And being able to have open communication with your partner. I, as an empath, it's really important. I'm so fortunate. I have a great husband, but he's, to begin with, he was gone a lot of our early part of our marriage. So he got me in measured doses when I was on my best behavior. And he's retired now, and he's been retired for several years. But our relationship is even better than it was when he was gone all the time. We spent time on the phone together. But he's really good about giving me space and not just emoting at me. Like everybody has a bad day,
yeah,
but he he doesn't like make me have to feel his feelings for him. He feels his own feelings. He takes responsibility for his feelings. And
Yeah,
if he says something that's not, you know, he rarely is snippy, but if he's snippy at me or he says something that he knows is hurtful to me, he will come back and apologize every single time. It's amazing, man.
that's great. That's what you want.
Yeah,
That's
it
what
is
you
really
want.
what you want.
I mean, it's a person that's not blaming. He's not attached to you. He doesn't need you to fix his stuff. He
Yeah.
doesn't need you to change anything. He's not complaining to you. Like, it's funny because my husband's pretty even keeled.
Hmm.
Very few times, things that make him a little bit nervous don't even come close to making me nervous. So we're wired very differently.
Hmm.
But at different points, like, you know, all he has to say is, "Did you see that over here?" Like, he's not even complaining, really. But I can sense, and I'm, "Are you all right?" I'm like, "Oh, you need to calm down." I'm like, okay. Hmm. So he's learned to kind of step back in a way. And I have a daughter who is also very sensitive. Mind you,
Hmm.
she's in the military, so she has absolutely been put on the spot to like shift some of how she relates and make the best of it for herself.
Hmm.
And she's doing that. So, that was her path. So, as an empath, you can be anywhere, you can do anything you want. You just have to know how to feed your soul, how to come back to who you are, because you can get lost in other people. You can lose yourself along the way.
So true.
Yeah.
So you provide coaching for people. Do you do it one-on-one or is it group coaching? How does all that look?
So all that looks like, I do one-on-one. I am like limiting that now because I have a group program, and it's a small
Mhm.
group program that I'm starting. And then there is going to be a community for those people that are graduating from that, because I find that a lot of empaths are very lonely, and we do like the deeper conversation, and we deserve to have depth and growth. Whatever we want is here, and to be in the company of another empath is an honor, because you truly are holding space for one another, and whatever healing transformation you're trying to do is even at a higher level when you do it with a group. So at this point I have another intensive starting in September. I just started one in March, and they're going to be graduating and they're going to go into community. Then I'll start another one in September.
Mhm.
And I'm super excited because, you know, it's we're always shifting, always transforming. The amount of stuff that we are going through is never ending, right? But to do it with a group of people, and to do it with, um, it's funny how we can all see things the other people may not see. That's,
Mhm.
it's like you can't see you're in the jar. You can't see what's on the outside of your jar as well as somebody else might be able to. So I'm really excited about that. I'm really excited about, I love going deep. That's
Mhm.
the gold to me. Like, it's so precious when you, and then it's funny because the people in this cohort, one of them is like, oh, she's probably in her mid 30s. She goes, I'm just a baby of the group. She goes, I'm like, you are so not the baby of the group. I'm like, do you have any idea? Like, so I'll listen to people's voices and I'll just look at them and I can see more of who they truly are. And then she sees me looking at her, and she's like happy all of a sudden. Like, yeah, because I can see who you are. So I'm reflecting that back to you, and you can see that. And she's so not the baby at all. The things that she writes, the things that she channels is just unbelievable. But when you look at the outside, she's not showing the world that. She's not, most of them, and this could be an empath thing as well. Like, we're not out there touting our own horn, like tooting our own horn. Like, we do this great, we do that. We keep everything kind of like in check. And if
Mhm.
not in check, at least a little bit back we are. And
Mhm.
I'm like, why aren't you in love with what you're doing? Let me hear you. Let me hear you roar. Let me hear you speak this because it's beautiful. So it's really in the work that I do. Yes, it's healing. Yes, it's empath skills. Yes, it's healing. But that expression, that stepping into who you are, it's like giving someone wings. Just, and it's deep enough that it's not the superficial stuff that matters.
Mhm.
At the end of the day, it's how you feel on the inside that matters. So
What you think about when you go to sleep. Are you happy? Is there joy in your life?
huge.
So I know you offer training, feelings, truth, and loving your life. Activate your inner wisdom training. You want to talk about that for just a second?
That is not, it's a 20-minute recording and it's a
Mhm.
PDF file. But, I have this poetic side to me, Feelings, Truth, and Loving Your Life, I think was the name of it. And it just goes through all the myths and all the key things you need to keep in mind as you're moving forward. It's a nice little summation. So I encourage everyone to sign up, listen to it. And then if you have more questions or you're on the list, you're going to see opportunities to get involved in something, join me.
Sounds awesome. And how can people find you?
Empathevolution.com. You can also email me at Michelle with two L's at empathevolution.com. I'm always open to a conversation. I like to meet the people. I like to interview and see what each of us can bring to the table, um, and collaborate with people because it's important.
I agree. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's been a great conversation.
You're most welcome.
So, to learn more about Michelle and to get the feeling, truth, and loving your life, activate your inner wisdom training, visit empathevolution.com, and I'll put those links in the show notes. Thank you for tuning in with us today. If you have a podcast or are interested in starting one to get your message in front of our huge and active audience, be sure to reach out to us at jill@gnostictv.com. We love to help spiritual entrepreneurs and coaches amplify their voice and monetize their mission and offer a variety of ways to do this on the Gnostic TV network platform. Join us for our next episode as we share what others are doing to raise the global frequency. Remember, change begins with you. You have all the power to change the world. Start today.